Welcome back. You thought you were rid of me for 2021. How you guys doing? I've got one more video today. Um, Gonna be some more new releases, mostly restocks, but my last video, if you've been watching these, was a sort of a rundown of my favorite 20 albums of 2021. That was episode 57, so check that out if you didn't see it. Maybe you'll get interested in hearing some of those things. So, as is inevitable, I was watching TV this morning and they were doing a rundown of everything that happened this year on their channel and on their show. And I was like, gosh, it seems really early for that. It's only December 16th. There's like 2 weeks left. And then I was like, oh, wait, but I've already done my year end list. And then I was like, and I've heard a bunch of albums that I really like that weren't on the list, and a couple of things I just heard this week. And so I'm going to give you a couple of those too. So, one thing that would have been on my list for sure that somebody mentioned to me, and I thought, oh, I started listening to that, and then I got sidetracked and I never got back to it. And then I went and listened to it, and I was like, okay, this would have been in my top 20, definitely top 20, maybe top 10, is the album Animal by Laura Marling and Mark Lindsay, going under the name Lump. Laura Marling is sort of a modern British folky sort of. She gets put in that sort of modern Joni Mitchell category. She has a kind of a deep, husky voice. Her lyrics tend to be sort of abstract, especially on this album. Um, she sort of started when she was like a teenager, and her first couple albums were, I guess, her kind of breakthrough album, I Speak Because I Can, was recorded with Marcus Mumford and other Mumford and Sons people because she was dating him at the time. And she moved on since then and created a whole like catalog of sort of interesting albums. This is the second Lump album. The first one was a few years ago. I thought this was far superior to the first one. More melodic, more interesting lyrically. The songs are just stronger. It's cool hearing the way that her voice gets manipulated at times. It even runs like sort of a soundtrack where the last song sort of has an outro of listing all of the people who participated in the production of the album, sort of like the end of a movie. So I think it's very creative. It's a good record, so check it out if you missed it, and if you've ever had a passing interest in her. It's a little bit of a detour, but sort of a spark of creativity that's interesting. Another person like that, Damon Albarn, of Gorillaz and Blur fame. This is his new solo record, The Nearer the Fountain, More Pure the Stream Flows. Um, Another album that's just growing and growing on me a lot. I really like it. I liked his first solo record too, Everyday Robots. This one's a little bit more sort of stream of consciousness and a little less song, but I really like the way it kind of plays almost like a continuous thought, a suite of songs. And it's so outside of like Gorillaz. It's probably a little more in line with The Good, the Bad, and the Queen, his other project, which if you ever saw my lists from the past few years, that was like my number one choice, like maybe 3 years ago, I think was when that album came out. At least two, maybe three. So I've always been a big Damon fan, and I think this album is really great. And I don't know how I passed over it, but it shouldn't have been. Another one, Snail Mail, Valentine. If you're looking for like 90s indie rock sounds from a young girl who's, what, she's 20, I think, 21, this is a very strong album. And, it just wasn't on my list, but there's no reason that it shouldn't have been, and probably should have been in some cases. So, and that also brings me to this other artist, which I don't know how much of this cover I can show, Indigo D'Souza. This is her new record, Any Shape You Take. She's from, I think, North Carolina, Asheville. It's very also sort of 90s alternative rock sounding stuff. So I think if you've kind of lived through that era, these are a couple of artists, Indigo and Snail Mail, that I think you might want to look into because they kind of remind me of sort of like the Juliana Hatfields and that sort of kind of sound of artist. Another record that I didn't put on there, but I probably should because I played it a lot, is Big Red Machine's new album. This is How Long Do You Think It's Gonna Last? Big Red Machine being Aaron Dessner from The National and Bon Iver, which is Justin Vernon. And there's a track with Taylor Swift on here called Renegade that's really great and probably could have been on Folklore Evermore. I mean, it's a great album, or great song. And there's a song Phoenix with Fleet Foxes that's also great. So it's a very collaborative album, and I think a lot of people slept on it. I think critics were, I don't know what they were looking for, but I thought it was superior to the first Big Red Machine album. So people probably don't know what it is under that name, but if you were looking for the new Bon Iver record, I think that sort of fits the bill. It's close. And then one record that I loved and I think was sort of polarizing with some people, but I thought the new Prince album, Welcome to America, was really great. And look, it's a little bit different for him. I think this was better, controversially, than any album that he was putting out around 2010 when he recorded it. And I don't understand why he didn't put it out. The only reason I can think is that because he couldn't tour it because the bass player was, I think she was in Jeff Beck's band, and he was doing stuff, and she couldn't find the time. But he recorded it basically as a trio with him, a bass player and a drummer, and maybe a quartet. So it might be someone on keyboards. But anyway, it's a small group, and it was not like any group that he'd been with before or since. So it was kind of a one-off, but it was very socially aware for the most part. Like, it's kind of more along the lines of, say, something you would have heard from, like, I don't know, trying to think, like Marvin Gaye maybe, or somebody back in the 70s. It's got fun tracks on it too, like Hot Summers, very kind of lighthearted. But the title track and Born to Die are pretty deep, like social conscious songs for Prince. And then obviously One Day We Will All Be Free is another one, sort of. So I don't know, I'd check it out. It might be a little bit of surprising to people because most of it is much more either organic or feels like he sort of did it himself, and maybe it doesn't feel unfinished at all. So that's the kind of interesting part about it, I guess. But song for song, I think it's better than most of what he was doing around that time. Okay. So new stuff. I can get on to some other things here. There's the new Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon 3. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this, so it's finally out. I know a fair amount of people ordered it online, but this has a guest appearance by Phoebe Bridgers. Watch out, haters. Okay. I'm not going to take that. All right. Let's see. Another one. Elbow. Flying Dream 1. So Elbow, their last record was sort of rocky, and I really liked that record a lot. Amazing. And then this record's a little more meditative, quiet. It was done in sort of like big open spaces during the pandemic with like some assisted chamber artists, chamber meaning like singers and instrumentalists. It's a very meditative sort of album about connections between people. He's got a very Peter Gabriel voice, Guy Garvey. So if you have not heard Elbow and you like Peter Gabriel and you want something that's like Peter but more modern, you've got a whole catalog of like 10 Elbow albums and Guy's solo record to investigate. So, okay, another sort of famous, infamous band of this area that just keeps doing some reissues, but I think this is cool. Ween at the Cat's Cradle, 1992. This is a milky clear vinyl pressing. And the other one that came out or is coming out is Ween, God Ween, Satan, which has been out before. And this is red vinyl, blue vinyl with red and blue splatters. And this was recorded in 2001. And it's got the entire God Ween, Satan thing. So, Ween, I mean, I could do a whole like video on Ween and it would not be enough. They're a band that keeps touring. They don't make new records for whatever reasons they come up with. But anyway, it's kind of hard to get a lot of their stuff right now because a lot of it's out of print since the pressing plants are so strapped. So there's an option. Another band who I find very underrated. I mean, they're rated in the talk of like historic kind of bands, but you don't hear about them much anymore, is Morphine, Cure for Pain. This is a reissue, and it's a double album. This was done on Run Out Groove, great label. Still surprisingly have Typo Negative October Rust here. But this is got a bunch of like alternate versions, other versions of tracks on the second record, so check that out. Let's see. There's another The OC's Levitation Sessions. Yeah, Levitation Sessions, Volume 2. There's so many different sessions out. So we have Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I said, why did I say that was The OC's? This is Fuzz, The Fuzz. Another sort of similar kind of band, but Ty Segall's band, Fuzz. It's not Volume 2, I'm telling you, I'm not getting much sleep these days. 200 Motels, Frank Zappa, reissue on vinyl. Let's see, it's black vinyl, Bernie Grunman mastered, made by Optimal. There's a CD box set of this coming with 6 CDs. I don't have to show right now, but if you're into 200 Motels, I know it's one of his quirkier projects. But all right, Dr. Lonnie Smith's Breathe. It's a new release on Blue Note Records. Has some live stuff. There's 3 tracks with Iggy Pop. So if you're into sort of quirky jazz, and speaking of quirky jazz, here's another one I may have shown last time. It's William Hooker's Big Moon. This is very Sun Ra-esque. Some of the tracks are just moving piano kind of stuff, and then others are complete wig outs of all of the instruments there, almost seemingly like chaotic sounding. And then there's tracks that are just drums and bongos too, so it's out there, okay? But it's cool that there's modern jazz guys doing that. And speaking of Sun Ra's Omniverse, this was supposed to be a record store day thing, and it just got its reissue a little bit late. Excuse me, Blue Note. Hey, Blue Note, last week I said that, we got there was one record that came in, and I said, it was sort of a straggler, and then I didn't realize that there were 3 others. So, Kenny Cox, introducing Kenny Cox and the Contemporary Jazz Quintet. That's another one that was cut by Kevin Gray, mastered from Analog Tapes. This one, Love Bug by Reuben Wilson. This one actually features Lee Morgan and Grant Green. Could be of interest. I don't know. They're not going to be around for long, I'm sure, at least not the supply anyway. They say they'll be making them for a while. And finally, Herbie Nichols. This one's called The Prophetic. So it's parts 1 and 2 on the same record, which is kind of nice that they did that. Features the track Cro-Magnon Nights. All right, so there's some Blue Note jazz stuff for you. And then last time I might have also mentioned Booker Ervin. Bethlehem is starting their own series now of reissues. There's a few coming in January, so I'll talk more about those. But this has Zoot Sims, Tommy Turrentine, Tommy Flanagan. It's called The Book Cooks. All right. Lots of jazz, people. Lots of jazz. Gregory Porter's new album. This is called Still Rising. Another jazz Blue Note guy, modern singer. I don't know what they were doing with this because it looks like they cut down the track list to fit on one record, so it's not as long as what's on the CD, and it also looks like it might be a mix of things that are like covers and different sorts of people get involved. But he's got like the last track is "Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad" by Moby, and Moby's actually playing on it. So yeah, I don't know. It's a very collaborative kind of record. So, but Gregory's cool. He kind of expanding the world of jazz. A reissue Sly and the Family Stone. There's a riot going on. This is sort of a famously or an infamously famous album on limited edition red vinyl. Turns 50. Chuck Prophet. This was another record store day Black Friday thing that didn't get out. This is No Other Love. So if you're a Chuck Prophet fan, this looks great, and it's another sort of record store day straggler. It's the soundtrack to Stubbs the Zombie. And this actually features a lot of people. Death Cab for Cutie doing Earth Angel, Cake doing Strangers in the Night, the Walkmen doing There Goes My Baby, Dandy Warhols doing All I Have to Do Is Dream, Flaming Lips doing If I Only Had a Brain, among others. Ravenettes, My Boyfriend's Back. Looks like a fun soundtrack. Limited edition splatter vinyl. And a couple other things here. An Eddie Vedder single, 45, 7-inch, whatever you want to call it. Long Way. And B-side, The Halves. This comes out, the album comes out in February. But I don't know when the vinyl comes out because, again, the vinyl might be delayed or something. I'm not really sure if there's a date for that. And then finally, there's a 10-inch late arrival Hellraiser, Ozzy Osbourne, and Motorhead. So side B are the two respective versions of those songs that they did in 1991 and 92. And side A is the Hellraiser mashup, which takes the two songs and sort of makes them a duet. All right. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover today. I'm in the middle of the Christmas throes. So pray for me, pray for all of us that we get through this and stay healthy and all. It's been a crazy time, as you all know, and the craziness just continues. So thank you very much for watching. And that was a little bit of an update. I guess it was more time than I thought it was going to be. Next week, I don't know if there will be an update because I don't think there's really anything coming out other than the Chuck Berry, and I don't know if that's just CD or what, but that's from his like 1990 live residency sessions. So I think it's CD and vinyl, but I don't know if the vinyl will make it in time. Who releases a record on Christmas Eve, right? I mean, only the Chuck Berry Foundation, I guess, or whoever's taking care of his legacy. All right. Thank you so much. And hey, I'll see you guys in probably 2022. All right. Thank you again, everybody, for all your support the last year or two. I can't put it into words. It's really overwhelming. And basically, I need to write my book. And I think everyone needs to write a book, but I would write a book and definitely thank a lot of you for all that you've done. And much support, hopefully in the future, and stay well yourselves. All right. Enjoy the holidays. Thanks. Be well. Bye.